Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mahmudul binti SM Hassan, with the metric number 221156. So the book that really interests me is Islamic Life and Thought by Seyyed, Hossein and Nasr. Before we dive into the content of the books, we are going to know about the biography of Seyyed Hossein and Nasr. Seyyed Hossein and Nasr was born on April 7, 1933 in Tehran, Iran. He comes from a family with a long traditions of scholarships and religious devotion, and then he received his early educations in Iran and went on to study at the prestigious Albert High School in Tehran, then pursued higher educations in the United States and physics in the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 1954. Then he continued in master's degree in geology and geophysics, also from the MIT in 1956, and later earned his doctorate from Harvard University in 1958. Throughout his career, Nasr has held various academic positions at leading universities around the world, including Tehran University, Harvard University, and also George Washington University. And he is particularly renowned for his expertise in Islamic philosophy, Sufism, and traditional wisdom. And he has authored over 50 books and hundreds of articles. And his writings actually reflect a deep commitment to preserving and promoting the spiritual and intellectual heritage of Islam, while also engaging with the contemporary issues ongoing worldwide. And his academic contributions has been actively involved in promoted dialogue and understanding between different religious and cultural traditions. And throughout his life, Nasr has received numerous awards and honors for his scholarly achievements and contributions to the interfaith dialogue and understanding. Then he continues to be a leading voice in the field of Islamic studies and spirituality, in order to inspire the countless individuals with his wisdom, insights, and profound spirituality. And the things that really interest me is the concept and reality of freedom in Islam and Islamic civilizations. In this book, it says that it might be said that most of the discussions in the West concerning freedom involves in one way or another the freedom to do or to act, whereas in the context of traditional man, the most important form of freedom is the freedom to be, to experience the pure existence itself. This is the most profound form of freedom, but it is nearly completely forgotten today because man is so fond of collecting experience, has ceased to remember that what the experience of pure existence is, which is a reflection of being itself, and which is at once spirit, consciousness, and bliss means, and therefore how precious is the freedom which makes the experience possible, and from another point of view, issues from this experience. And in Islamic perspectives, humans were created in the image of God and also vicegerents, Khalifa on earth. But it is actually means both, which by virtue of their servitude to God, which makes it possible for them to receive from heaven and to administer on earth. And man, as the theophany of the divine names and qualities as Asma or Sifat, or as the image of God, participates in both freedoms and necessity. And personal freedom means surrender to the divine will, and that is one of the fifth pillar in Islam and in purifying oneself inwardly. Nevertheless, pure freedom actually belongs to the one and only God, Allah. Therefore, the more we are, then the more are we free. And this intensity in the mode of existence cannot be reached through submissions and conformity to the will of God, who alone is in absolute sense. There is no freedom possible through flight from the rebellion against the principle. The second component, which is really prominent in this book, is the Sharia and changing historical conditions ruled by Nasr. When talking about Sharia, it must be clear that actually it talks about Muslim personal law and not simply man-made laws. Thus, the emphasis is more on religion than on law itself, as these two terms are commonly used in European languages today. And every discussions of Islamic law involves the most basic religious beliefs and attitudes of Muslims. This is because in Islam, the divine will manifests itself concretely as specific law and not abstractly as more or less general moral injunctions. For example, Christianity teaches that God asks men to be charitable or humble as the teaching of Christ clearly indicate. However, one is not told how in a concrete sense one should apply these virtues, so that the general religious teachings remains on an abstract level unaffected by change in the concrete laws which govern human society. That is why European as well as the modernist Muslim nowadays, who are more at their home in Western culture than in their own, cannot understand the insistence of traditional Muslims on preserving the letter of the divine law. Nasr writings also cover about the relation between two renowned scholars, which are Ibn Sina and Aristotle, and the components called the cosmologies of Aristotle and Ibn Sina, and in which the comparative study of the cosmologies of Aristotle and Ibn Sina shows that although deeply influenced by his predecessor, Ibn Sina moved towards an integration of Aristotelian cosmology with Islamic beliefs. Thus, he created a cosmology which served an important purpose of Islamic belief thought. Although the rationalistic and syllogistic aspects of his thought were criticized by few, and among them were Ghazali, his cosmology, once divorced from its syllogistic mode of presentations, and was adopted by many later Hakims, Sufis, who demonstrated clearly its value for the contemplative life. And therefore, by adopting Aristotelian cosmology in its Neoplatonic versions to the Islamic perspective, Ibn Sina was able to make a permanent contribution to the total structure of Islamic thought, even though the syllogistic and rationalistic of the aspect of Aristotelianism he adopted was finally rejected as an independent and all-embracing closed system in Islam. And that's really related to the Sufism context, because Seyyed Hossein sees Sufism as a living tradition that has adapted and flourished throughout Islamic history, producing numerous great saiyans, poets, and scholars who have left a lasting impact on Islamic civilizations. And he often highlights the rich spiritual heritage of Sufism, which includes practices such as meditations, dhikr, includes the practices such as the pursuits of inner knowledge, which is we call as gnosis. And in his writings, Nasr also underscores the role of Sufism in fostering a deep connections between the individual and the divine, which is transcending the confines of formal religious dogma to reach the essence of spiritual truth. And he sees Sufism as a path of direct spiritual knowledge where the seek strives to attain union with the God through spiritual practices and inner contemplations. And overall, his perspectives on Sufism is characterized by a profound appreciation of its spiritual depth, its universality, and its transformative potentials in the lives of individuals and societies. And he also considers Sufism to be a beacon of light in an increasingly materialistic world, because in order to offer a path towards inner peace, spiritual fulfillment, and ultimate devotions to the God.